on Wednesday, British boxing promoter Frank Warren held a press conference for one of his upcoming shows. And during that press conference, he announced that he had signed Tyson Fury, who is, of course, a heavyweight contender out of the UK. And the way he announced it is as if it was a done deal. He said that Tyson Fury would be fighting on his next card on Box Nation, and also his cousin, Hughie Fury, would also be fighting. And he insinuated that this would be a long-term deal. And that, I mean, he didn't exactly say that he would be Tyson Fury's promoter, but that's certainly what he insinuated. And he certainly insinuated that it would be on Box Nation and acted as though it was a done deal. And a day or so later, and I'll leave links to these articles in the description below, Tyson Fury's promoter, Mick Hennessy, came out and said he has not signed a deal with Frank Warren. He has not signed to Frank Warren. They had a meeting with Frank Warren, and during this meeting, they verbally agreed terms, but said that there would be no deal until Mick Hennessy receives paperwork. And they were told that they would receive the paperwork within 48 hours. So Frank Warren jumped the gun and he made out as though it was a done deal. And he was actually very disrespectful of Mick Hennessy, because in the interview, I believe it was with IFL TV, formerly known as iFilm London, in the interview, that he was asked about the situation regarding Mick Hennessy. Was Tyson Fury still with Mick Hennessy? Had he split from Mick Hennessy? Was it going to be a co-promotional situation with Mick Hennessy? What was the deal? He was asked directly, and he said, well, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that, whether or not he'll be as promoter. All I know is that Mick Hennessy probably will be involved in some capacity. Up until paperwork is signed, then Mick Hennessy is Tyson Fury's promoter. And no paperwork had been signed. It was a proposal and a verbal agreement which had not got to the contractual stage, or at least not the written contract. So Frank Warren yet again jumped the gun. Mick Hennessy and Tyson Fury are perfectly capable now, and they're perfectly within their rights to go and find another deal if they want, to go sign a contract with someone else. And according to Mick Hennessy, the worst case scenario is that he will do a co-promotional deal with Frank Warren. He said here, this is Mick Hennessy's own words, he said, we've been offered a free fight deal with Box Nation, but as of yet, we've not seen anything in writing. I'm not happy. It is not the way I do business, that's for sure. I would not announce anything without it in writing. We've been speaking about it this morning, and the way it was left was that we would receive the paperwork within 48 hours, so there was no mention of it being announced. As far as I'm concerned, until it's signed, then it's not done. Okay? And again, he continued and said, at the end of the day, it's an offer to go to Box Nation for 3 fights. Once we've read the offer and it's acceptable and all terms are right, then it's something we could do. But there are a lot of things to sort out before we get to that. Worst case, it could be a co-promotional deal because Hennessy Sports are Tyson Fury's promoter. So according to Mick Hennessy, this is not a deal with Frank Warren. This is a deal with Box Nation. And that Mick Hennessy would be the promoter, and at worst, he'd be the co-promoter. Now, we've already got a situation like that on Box Nation with Barry McGuigan and Carl Frampton, because Frank Warren has virtually no hand at all in promoting Carl Frampton. Carl Frampton is almost completely, exclusively promoted by Barry McGuigan, and that the deal between McGuigan is with McGuigan and Box Nation rather than McGuigan and Frank Warren. But as we know, Frank Warren is a major shareholder, if not the biggest shareholder in Box Nation. So people pretty much associate Box Nation with Frank Warren. But either way, this is not the first time that Frank Warren has done this kind of thing. It's very unprofessional. It's disrespectful. It's not the first time he's done it. He did it last summer when there was a proposed showdown between Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder. And Frank Warren yet again announced at a press conference that the Chisora-Wilder fight was going to take place on a certain date. And Golden Boy were very unhappy about it. Richard Schaefer came out and said there's been no paperwork done, and this is very unprofessional. This is not the way you do business. And yeah, they were very unhappy with Frank Warren. I don't know why Frank is doing this. Maybe he believes that announcing it as a done deal at a press conference will boost ticket sales. Maybe he's hoping to try and hoodwink the public and get them to buy tickets in advance as soon as they hear Tyson Fury. It's a very disingenuous way, certainly, to do business, and very unprofessional. But I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, when it comes to Frank Warren. The guy is not. I mean, I don't want to speak too much about it. I've addressed Frank Warren in previous videos, but this is just another example of a lack of professionalism from Frank Warren. I'm not sure if it's him trying to hoodwink the public to get them to buy tickets in advance, or whether he's just got a monumental ego. I mean, it's very disrespectful as well to Mick Hennessy. It's very disrespectful to Team Fury. Without giving him any paperwork, he's already announcing it. And he's not making out as though Hennessy's even involved. He's making out as though Fury is now a Frank Warren fighter. He's just certainly insinuating these things, without necessarily saying it outright. So very unprofessional. And yeah, drop your comments below. What do you feel about this? Personally, I think that the deal probably will go ahead. They probably will sign with Frank Warren because, as far as I know, the Furies have fallen out with Sky, and more specifically with the head of boxing at Sky, Adam Smith. They've fallen out with him. They don't get along with him now. So I can't see them going to Sky. I can't see Adam Smith being willing to accept them at Sky, at least not at the moment. And Channel 5 is pretty much dead in the water. Channel 5 announced that they were going to axe boxing a while ago. They brought it back for a couple of fights. But now Mick Hennessy is bleeding fighters. We know that Chris Eubank Jr. has apparently left Hennessy Sports. We know that James DeGale is extremely unhappy with the way that his career has been handled by Mick Hennessy. I'm not sure if he's left just yet, but that situation is very, very, unstable, the James DeGale situation. And Chris Eubank Jr. has left. Chris Eubank Jr., although he's not a major fighter, he draws viewing figures because people know his name because of his father, And at the end of the day, it don't really matter who the fighters are fighting as long as they're drawing a crowd in terms of keeping a television network happy. If the events are getting a lot of viewers, then the television network will be happy. Channel 5 will be happy as long as people are tuning in to watch. So with Chris Eubank Jr. no longer there, who do they put on the card? They've got Tyson Fury, they've got Hughie Fury. They don't have that much depth on their cards at the moment. They're going to struggle to get shows on Channel 5. So as far as I can see, Channel 5 seems like a sinking ship. So they're going to have to go somewhere else. And the only place it seems like they can go at the moment in the UK would be Box Nation. And the only place that Tyson Fury is really a big name at the moment is in the UK. So Box Nation, it looks like it is. I'll be surprised if they don't do a deal with Box Nation in the coming weeks. But drop your comments below. What do you feel about this whole situation? What do you feel Tyson Fury and the Fury camp, Mick Hennessy, should do from now? Do you think they should sign with Box Nation? Or do you think they should go in a different direction? Maybe try and take him to another country? Who knows? Drop your comments and suggestions below. This is Hatman. I'm out.